¿Alguna vez te has preguntado cómo la música Latinx del futuro se vive en el presente?
Hola, somos Cami Edu, tus hosts del día de hoy. Y hemos creado este podcast por múltiples motivos, y uno de ellos es entender el concepto del futurismo latinoamericano a través de la música, el arte, la danza, la arquitectura, la filosofía.
En Arroyo Bichuela somos dos amigos que decidimos emprender esta aventura que se llama podcasting para contestar muchas preguntas, entre ellas, ¿qué es futurismo latinoamericano y cómo nos vemos nosotros en ese género?
Y a ti que te gustan los conceptos, te leo. FLA es un proyecto audiovisual con la finalidad de investigar, exponer, educar y expandir el concepto de futurismo latinoamericano. ¿Y cuál es la temática de hoy?
La temática de hoy es música FLA en vivo.
Y como tú sabes que a ti te gusta y te encanta movernos el lugar porque estamos en otro espacio, métete a Patreon.
Tu apoyo en Patreon hizo que apareciéramos en otro
Exacto.
set.
Imagínate tú, tanto así que arrecho que ni sabes, ni te imaginas en dónde estamos.
Exacto. El Patreon está aquí en el link, así que si quieres ver mucho más acerca del episodio de hoy, ahí te puedes meter, hay entrevistas, hay blogs, que muchos par de blogs bien interesantes.
Hay mucha más, hay más intimidad.
Exacto.
Así que a ti te gusta.
Decimos.
Y bueno, como sabrán, estamos aquí en un lugar que se llama The Empty Bottle en Chicago, ¿ok? ¿Y qué estamos haciendo aquí?
Pues estamos viendo a nuestro artista de hoy, del episodio de hoy. El tema es música FLA en vivo. Y el artista de hoy es Cabeza de Chivo.
Cabeza de Chivo.
Motivadera.
Bueno, yo estoy súper emocionada de estar acá, aparte que es primera vez que estamos fuera del estudio y es como que, como tú dijiste, el podcast se mueve con nosotros. Y con
Somos mobile,
somos mobile, sí.
Flat to go.
Flat to go, ¿te imaginas? Te llamas las putas a la casa. Y nada, estamos aquí en este lugar que se llama Empty Bottle. Yo también, este es el green room en donde los artistas esperan para después salir a tarima. Yo he estado aquí cuando he bailado y presentado y nada, pues estamos aquí porque vamos a entrevistar a un grupo muy, muy cool. Y ya dijimos el nombre, que se llama Cabeza de Chivo.
Así mismo.
¿Cómo te sientes hoy?
Pues estoy bien pompeado. Como dijiste, nuestro primer outing fuera del set. Ustedes han visto vlogs que es como que corto, más relajado, pero esto es tratando de formalizar lo que es FLA en otros espacios para challenge ourselves, ¿no?
Exacto.
Challenge FLA, challenge nosotros como hosts, si el formato puede dividir en otras, si el sistema del proyecto puede dividir en otros formatos, y pues ustedes están viendo ese proceso a ver si fue un fail o un success. Yo quiero pensar que fue un success.
Yo creo que sí.
Lo sabremos al final de este episodio.
Y para que tú sepas que tipo, es como para mantener la vibra viva, porque esto no es una cosa que grabamos robóticamente y solo queremos hablar, no, o sea, queremos demostrar que nuestra cultura es viva, existe y está presente y sigue pasando.
Y no somos dos tontitos en un closet, en un estudio.
En un estudio ahí con las luces apuntándonos grabando, ¿no? O sea, somos gente que en verdad salimos a experimentar la cultura y queremos exponer nuestra cultura al mundo, porque somos los mejores.
Exacto.
Y los latinos.
Queríamos poner a FLA to the test.
Exacto, FLA to the test.
En vida real, con artistas que nos digan, no, cabrón, ¿de qué tú vas?
Exacto, sí. Y ver si en verdad como que lo que estamos haciendo es de una manera no real, pero como que conecte, ¿no? O sea, y creo que van a descubrir si en verdad conectamos o no.
Exacto. El futuro te dirá. Bueno, pues entonces vamos a hablar un poquito de...
Dime.
Cabeza de Chivo. ¿Cómo nos encontramos con Cabeza de Chivo? ¿Qué es Cabeza de Chivo?
¿Verdad? Cabeza de Chivo es una banda de Chicago conformado por 5 músicos. Y no sé cómo decirte.
Cami, entre sus otros proyectos, conectó, el universo conspiró para que conectara.
Exacto, conectar. Una vez yo estaba sentada en un barbecue en mi casa y alguien puso una canción y yo dije, wow, ¿qué es esto? Me parece increíble. Lo busqué y se llaman Cabeza de Chivo. Y después, para el evento que yo voy a hacer la próxima semana en Dance USA, comencé a buscar un DJ que tenga tendencias futuristas latinoamericanas y encontré a Alex Aguayo, que Alex Aguayo es uno de los integrantes, que es el baterista de la banda, ¿no? Y creo que es uno de los que estaba ahí desde el principio, si no mal entiendo. Y conecté con él y con Chase, que después lo van a conocer. Íbamos a hacer proyectos juntos, no se pudo dar, pero al final, como ella está, no se pudo dar porque estaban sacando todo este álbum que vamos a ver y van a presenciar ustedes después. A través de eso lo conocí, y mientras que Edu y yo estábamos haciendo esto y planeando la segunda temporada, fue que, brother, van a lanzar un disco. O sea, ellos en verdad tienen un montón de temas que como que son arrechísimos de escuchar, de bailar, y también conceptualmente sería increíble hablar con ellos y conocerlos. Entonces, he aquí, en el Empty Bottle.
Y como nosotros somos bien temáticos, pues yo pensé, ¿qué podemos hablar? Pues si vamos a entrevistar a alguien que sea algo que ayude o fomente a FLA, el archivo FLA, lo que queremos seguir indagando de qué es FLA, y como que caemos en cuenta que, ok, vamos a llevar FLA a un lugar que significa el arte que vamos a ver en un espacio. Y por eso pensamos, cuando hablamos de un álbum party, un release, un disco nuevo, cuando tu audiencia va a hacer ese intercambio.
Hi.
I'm Lupe, by the way.
Hi, Lupe. We're recording. We're doing a podcast. No,
Oh, right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're good.
It's not live. You're fine.
You're good, you're good.
Totally fine.
You can tell it's not a problem.
All right, cool.
We're just
Yeah.
featuring advice.
With a small mic, you're not going to be picked out.
All right, cool. Sorry, I didn't know.
No.
Oh,
totally
it's
fine.
good.
Estamos en el green room.
Sí, o sea,
Green room, las artes.
cuando hablamos de que las cosas son en vivo, son bien en vivo. Y no hay peo. Pero esto es lo que queríamos traer, ¿ves? ¿Cómo se siente FLA desenvolviéndose en un espacio y un artista que sea FLA con su audiencia?
En la vida real.
¿Qué significa? Porque Cami y yo podemos hablar arca, lo que me hace sentir a mí con mis audífonos, pero
Claro.
¿qué significa ver a un artista como Cabeza de Chivo? Después que los entrevistemos, vamos a vivir ellos tocando esa música por primera vez con su audiencia,
Sí.
que tienen una audiencia rechísima, están hasta escameando gente, son tan populares.
Nos contaron que, ¿cómo fue?
Que estuvieron scamming gente para entrar aquí. Tú estás sold out, nosotros estamos aquí escondidos, on the wraps, así que ustedes cámbiense la boca. ¿Ves? Nosotros nos metimos aquí.
Tu gata, póngale cámara. Literal, no pudimos ni siquiera encontrar tickets nosotros, y ni siquiera nos dejaron estar en el guest list, pero como ellos son tan panas y que vayan al green room y después
pues,
aparecen en el
De
concepto.
De tripas corazones, el intro ahora es en el green.
Exacto. Porque queríamos estar afuera y que en tío, que le vamos a poner unas fotos,
Eso, ¿eh?
pero
Y vamos a poner en vivo y, o sea, yo voy a documentar el proceso de quiero ver a mí ahí bailando, desenvolviéndose como dancer, pero yo quiero como que, honestamente, va a ser como un poquito de lo que se llama
¿qué?
Research etnográfico.
Oh, wow, amigo, yo
Ajá.
vine aquí con mentalidades, marico, me dejo-
Y yo estoy aquí como un científico.
que por eso es que somos la combinación
Perfecta. El dúo dinámico.
Ay, no, digo.
Entonces, y es para que se los disfruten. Es pura joda, pero honestamente es para que tú, que no sabes qué es FLA y estás en el doom scrolling, el 20 episodios que estás viendo de nosotros, digan, mira,
Exacto, sí.
esto es lo que es música FLA en espacio, y mira cómo la gente ve, y hay comunidad, y como que tenemos también, no sabemos el nivel de conocimiento que ellos tienen de lo que es futurismo latinoamericano,
Exacto.
como nosotros lo conocemos, y queremos ese meeting of the minds con ellos,
Sí,
dialogar qué es para ellos la música, qué es futurismo, cómo ellos se ven en el espacio, cómo ellos se ven en el género, cómo ellos se ven con lo que están creando con este álbum, que es su debut, lo cual es bien vulnerable.
sí, es su debut, porque no les vamos a contar la entrevista, van a
La van a ver ahora. Digo, no sabemos, pero yo sé que es su debut.
Exacto, sí. Pero bien especial su proceso artístico. O sea,
Ujú.
creo que ahora soy más fan del grupo y los amo más después de haberla escuchado. Porque ya los entrevistamos, mi gente, ustedes. Todo lo hacemos de manera atemporal porque no existe el
Porque el
tiempo.
tiempo no existe. La convergencia entre llegar tarde, llegar a tiempo, las cosas estructuradas, el caos, nos vamos por ahí.
Yo estoy en modo rumba, chamo, yo ya estoy que pa.
Sí.
Ok.
Pues,
Fueron a Lord y no, ni siquiera me gustó el Malord.
¿te lo tomaste ya?
¿No?
No debemos dar un shot.
No, nos vamos a dar un shot de Malord, que eso es típico de Chicago, mi gente. Ya revelamos que estamos en Chicago, aunque era una regla.
Exacto.
Rompí.
O sea, no vivimos aquí, porque siempre venimos para acá.
Sí, literal. Toda la plata del mundo, ¿no? Siempre viajamos a Chicago.
Sí, o sea, high true, estamos en Chicago. ¿Qué
Exacto,
vamos a
ya.
hacer?
Hombre, yo estoy demasiado emocionada.
Yo también, yo creo que esta va a ser uno para los para the ages. For the
Sí,
book,
para the
one
Ages for the books, sí. Y lo queremos lanzar también lo más rápido posible porque en verdad sentimos y creemos que van a agarrar fuerza.
Y queremos que vean que estuvimos aquí.
Exacto.
Y vamos a pedir que nos firmen las carticas.
Exacto, sí, ahí las dejamos para que nos firmen y
Y pues nada, nos vemos allá.
bye. First of all, so nice to have you here. Can we start by saying your name, the instrument that you play, and yeah, let's do that first and then we go into the second.
Yeah, I'm Hugo and I play guitar.
Okay.
I'm Alex. I play drums and vocals.
I'm Chase, and I play percussions and electronics.
I'm Andres. I play the bass and also vocals.
Perfect. And I know we're missing a member here.
Who's that?
Who's that member and what's their role?
V is our keyboardist as well.
Keyboardist. Okay.
Awesome. I want to start with two questions. One, who is Cabeza De Chivo? And then what is Cabeza De Chivo? Hi. Who is Cabeza De Chivo? However you want to interpret it, you know?
I think Cabeza de Chivo is just like alter ego that comes with a bunch of like sounds and energies and everything. It's like a soup of feelings and sounds and everything. So we're basically, it's just a project that we started, just a combination of roots that we come from all different places too. So it's pretty much like a mix of culture and sounds.
So, and then Cabeza De Chivo as a group, I was reading, I did some research, came together at Rainbow Club, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
How did that conversation come about? Was there like a need? Was there like some feeling there of like a lack of something in the industry or a passion in you and your collaborators?
Yeah, I think it was just more like a necessity of creating. We played in different projects, like all of us in different projects. And it was pandemic, I remember, and we come from like a background of also like very like rock and punk and garage and all that. So we're all mostly Latinos, and we all like la vieja escuela, you know, like old school Latino music, salsa, cumbias, merengue. So like it was like just an idea of combining everything. And yeah, it's pretty much how it started.
Okay, and sorry, Ryan, I get excited, then I scream on the mic. So going into the deep questions that I love to ask, so like, what is music for you? Or like, yeah, like what is music for you? Or how will you describe music? Like your perspective on it, you know? And I think that influences also maybe what instrument you choose to do and what rhythms you like to. I'm trying to translate my passion to dance with music, you know? So that's, yeah.
That's a very interesting question.
I said no, it's a hard question.
Yeah, but that's hilarious.
I mean, I'm a percussionist and a drummer, so I feel like everything is just beats, and I find the rhythms in mostly everything. And since I was little,
Yeah.
so and everything turns into that. Sometimes we're in fast pace, sometimes we're in slow pace,
Yeah.
and sometimes we're low, we're in highs, and I feel like that sometimes is life, you know. It's a rhythm of how you do things, how you see things, how you're feeling,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of things. I mean, that's what I take from.
That's for me. Music is therapy. You know,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a safe space for me. To just go somewhere or like go to the practice space or even at home wherever I'm at, wherever I'm making music. You know, like it's a way to get away from the world. You know, and yeah, it's a really healing like art. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're creating, you're just like lost in this world, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like, yeah, it heals me. It really does. So,
Anybody else? I love these. I love these answers.
No, I mean, I would echo that. Like, I feel like for me, music is such a like spiritual access gathering space that kind of like transcends a lot of borders, languages, places. Like, it's just this thing that we all feel and understand, and rhythms, and like things happening with predictability or like regularity or chaos within that. And I feel like for me, the biggest thing is like when everyone just gathers up around music, it's like you have that combination of your own personal, like deep experience and this communal shared thing where everyone's hearing the same thing, dancing together. It feels like the most fundamental, like human thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And connection for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, for me, music. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we live our lives through sound, as part of, life. And music is kind of like, just a way for us to kind of like live our shared experience together and share it. And music is just this kind of like umbrella term, but like for all these like small groups of people and cultures and traditions of people that like they grab whatever they have around them and they like make something meaningful. They create meaning through sound. And that's what it is to me. I live my life and I find the things around me and I try to make sounds with them and share them with the people around me and get something back. Get something.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
So I'm seeing like a through line here in what music is, right? It's something that's with a collective, something that's more energetic than anything, right? To feed your soul or your audience or get something that's fulfilling other than just making something like art, like just for creating. It's an exchange here for you guys, it sounds like. How does this album that we're seeing the release of fall into that? Is there, I for what I saw a lot of singles. This is your like debut, correct? So like how has that ethos of every individual person fed into this album?
I think this album it came with all the emotions, all the feelings. Like been working in this album for a long time, and it just been a process. Also, pandemic happened, so it was part of it too, and then a part of the creating process, putting everything together, figure it out the sound, figure it out like an identity, and then trying to make sure that that's the right move and what it feels like right for us. So it takes time. We didn't know how long, like we played in different projects, but this was more like, okay, let's try to do everything fine. We all have like our lives too. The world is chaotic. Mm-hmm. So time, work, personal lives. And like, we had to try to blend everything together and find a space so we can record, practice, fix things, master, mix, send it back. It's like it seems easy, but it's not. It's like a lot of conversations, disagreements, agreements, but at the end of the day, it's like we are happy with it's like a chapter. So I see it like that. Even for this show today, it's like like closing a chapter and starting something new and fresh and like kind of learning and applying what we learned from these previous years, and I feel like right now we got a good community and they are pretty cool with us. We support us. We created really good friendships in the music community and right here in Chicago in different places. So we kind of want to like give back.
Nice.
And
That's good.
It's a great question, actually. Great question. Well, no, I just wanted to add, like, the crazy thing about this band is like so much of the music gets worked out live and like we learn songs by ear. Like we do a lot of things where like this band has played a lot of shows and like you said, dropped a few singles here and there, but like a recorded thing is such a different project and process and it takes like a lot of dedicated work. It's an opportunity for, like Alex said, like a lot of community contribution. It's like a statement of the era, and we've played so many shows where it's like come catch a show, and people are like, where are your recordings? We want to listen to the recordings. And in a way for us it's kind of been like, well, we don't have any, come to the show, and the music has like gestated live for a really long time. And this band is also like unique in that in this modern way, like I think a lot of folks make recordings and then bring them to stage. And we're kind of doing this old school thing where we work them out on stage, then brought them to the recording studio. And now this is like a celebration of this whole era, the shows, like different people worked on the songs in different capacities. we essentially swapped instruments at one point. Like he wrote a lot of the bass parts and I played them, or then like all this different stuff. Some songs came together differently. Like it's really an opportunity to like put everything literally out there for everyone else. And like Alex said, like for us, we're like closing this chapter and so looking forward to like summer in the future. But then for the fans, this is like their first opportunity to listen to our songs outside of the Empty Bottle and stuff. So it's just like, it's a big deal for us. It's like an arrival point and yet also like a whole new thing. But we all like put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into like the music, making the stuff, the artwork, the design. And it's just like, I think for us, it's literally release. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I knew that there was like an improvisation element because it felt everything so alive, like the choices. Even when I was telling you before the interview that before meeting you, I heard about Cabeza De Chivo in like the backyard doing a barbecue, like the landlord, and like she played the music and I was like, what is that? This is so good. And then I started following Cabeza De Chivo and then, I ended up knowing you and then now all of you. And I was like, this is amazing because it feels like, I don't want to say, but I will say jazz, but with like so many Latin American rhythms mixed. And I'm like, this is so alive. And me as a dancer too, I can identify when something is happening at the moment, So it's so cool that you say that you're like not recording and then performing it, but you're like figuring it out on stage, and then you're like, okay, let's do an album, and like it's kind of like as a thank you to your people, which is like
even when we practice and when we write, it's like a very improvisatory like process, and then once we bring it to the stage, we do kind of try to play it like they kind of formulate over time. But yeah, even within the songs, there's a lot of moments where like we don't have exactly a plan, stuff just happens, Yeah.
That's so interesting that you say that, because when we were set on doing the interview, I started listening to the singles that were online. And I typically, when I'm like listening to music, I just start cooking and start playing everything. And usually when I don't like something, I'm like, this is dragging on a little too long. And when I was listening to your songs, they kind of meshed together, all of them. Like they were just on a loop. And like 40 minutes went by like that. Like it felt like time had like not gone really fast. To me, you say jazz, to me it felt like trance or like EDM, like music that like there is a repetitiveness there, but it's almost like a mantra. And it's very interesting that you say that it's like live and that you're working on it and that it may have some errors here that you're like figuring it out, but to me, it felt very calculated. Maybe it's just how the cohesion of all the instruments and how you guys were going through the sections of a song. Because I could feel when it was like the intro, when you were transitioning to another segment of the song. So kudos on that. I'm really excited to hear this new body of work. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that amalgamation of genres that you mentioned, like cumbia, how rock plays into that. And you all nodded when I said like trance, EDM music. So I'm assuming there's something there as well. How does that feed into your live sessions? Like, do you go with that in mind of like, or jazz, like, let's play and see what comes up? Or do you have like a set idea of what you want the set to be?
I feel like we do everything kind of backwards, which is pretty funny how we work together, but somehow it works. Even with social media and everything, but when it comes to like writing music, either somebody plays like either a beat or someone comes out with like a little riff or like a bass line or anything, and then we just go along. And then we're like, oh, either we play faster or slower. It's like play that maybe 3 times and then we add something else. And it's just like a conversation, like a continuing conversation of, all right, how can we develop this in a better way, But we've made pretty much all the songs like that, kind of like in a jam session. Yeah. It worked out. I don't know. Like I played in different projects and people are like, oh, I made this song. Like, and then you kind of gotta follow the direction of one instrument. But with this is like, it just goes in so many different ways. Like one song is not linear. It's not linear. So, and I guess maybe like, we listen to a lot of music too, so I think that's also has like helped us to not stay in one type of genre or like music. So Like we also like rock, punk, ska, even metal, like, so we applied everything somehow without even noticing. But it makes sense, we're trying to we're trying to play it in a way that makes sense for us and for everyone else. I mean, people like it, cool, but it's more than anything, it has to feel good with us,
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like how we write. I've been writing since we started, so
I wanted to maybe shift gears to Latin American futurism because I know you guys are a little tight on time.
Yes.
So Latin American futurism, some awareness of it at all, or because we could go a little debrief on what it is for us, Fla Podcast as a whole. So Fla Podcast, futurism, Latin American futurism, Futurismo Latinoamericano podcast, centers on creating kind of an archive of artists, of pieces, artists that fall within that category. What little we know of what we've found of what that is, with an idea or with a hope of kind of delineating and showing that it does exist and what it means for us as Latinx folk, and showing that we are going to be in the future, our art is going to be in the future, our people are going to be in the future. It's kind of like a statement right now to make sure that our people continue existing, right? If we're in a very chaotic time, and our project, at least La Podcast, is supposed to be like a safe space to harbor those artists and bring them into the fold and create a big group of people that fall within that. So Latin American futurism, there's a Chilean scholar that kind of categorized 5 pillars of what Latin American futurism could fall under. Doesn't mean that if you fall, you're automatically Latin American futurism. And it doesn't mean that if you're not Latin American futurism. This is just like the open-ended category, right?
Also, like nobody.
No one talks about it, so it's been hard.
We are like the hashtag.
Yes, we are starting it.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, please.
So there's 5, right? Nature and as a central focus of your art or the artist's ethos.
Technology as something that is like disruptive or imperfect.
Not something that's going to be like the savior to humanity,
Exactly.
but it could be like humanity can exist without it. It could be our enemy. That's another focal point. Celebration is part of life.
Party culture.
So like Latin American people are very festive. So that is the center of what you're making or the piece itself. Atemporality. So the convergence of colonization, industrialization, our indigenous folk before we were colonized. And that comes with working through time. So it could be work that represents the past, the present, and the future. You could play with cues from ancestral, like Incas, Mayas, and bring them into the future. That can be another aspect. And then the 5th is community as like the heart of the piece, or community as the focus of why the artist is making a piece. So just throwing that on you, do any of those kind of spark anything and you're like, oh, I feel myself there, or I see Cabeza De Chivo there?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Not a test. It's an open-ended question.
absolutely. I feel like also we most of us DJ too, so we're always in constant like research of music, and like not only rock or cumbia, but like house, Afro house, all the types of like dancing kind of music too. And music evolves, like it never stops. Like you say futuristic, I feel the future is now basically. Obviously there's like the timelines and everything, but I feel like right now, especially South America and Latinoamérica, está demasiado cabrón. Like there's some amazing musicians, amazing DJs, and some DJs that were like so good back then, but nobody knew them, and people are like, oh shit, like this person played in the 90s and now they're coming back, people are reviving music, so that's pretty cool. I'm from Ecuador, and there's some really interesting projects over there using more like electronic elements, and not only, but with the touch of being Sudamericano, ¿sabes? So it's like we have a lot of indigenous and Afro roots, so, and they all mix it together. I think like a really good example of someone doing this futuristic Latino America influence is CZK Records, and we've been following them for a while. We like everything they make, and they started a few years, well, like more than 10 years, I believe. But they're like a perfect example of how they started this movement too. That it's growing, it's been growing, and I hope Chicago also gets to that point too. People get more involved.
Yeah, I like what I think a lot about computers, because that's like my day job. And like a thing that I think about a lot is like how computers are, and technology and AI or whatever is going on at the moment, in the current time where we live in, that's new. It's like it's always made, especially more recently, it's like made for like ultra capitalistic purposes. It's meant to serve, not us. It's meant to serve somebody else. But yeah, at the same time, like we're living in it, we're existing in it, and I feel like it's almost like our job to do something with it and kind of subvert the technology to serve like our vision of the future, right? What we imagine. That's I feel like that's a thing that like we do with like the electronics, the experimental kind of like noise sections and the music, and it's just kind of like this thing where we can make use of whatever we got around us, whatever's in hand, whatever those people are making for their own purposes, and kind of hack it and use it to for us to say the thing that we want to say, make the thing that we want to make.
We're fine.
No, I like what you said about nature. Like, I mean, and for one, it sometimes feels like we're a band with this concept, just like shining this beacon from Chicago, being like, because we talk so much about like where we'd like to tour to, where we'd like to travel to, and I think a lot about the future in terms of like the movements of people changing borders, like how in the next 50 years, like who knows what things are going to be like. But also with nature, a word we use a lot is organic. Like if things feel organic, we write in an organic way. People dance to the music, which sometimes we start and people are like, all right, because it's so much coming at them, like it takes a minute, and then by the end of the set people are like, and kind of on like in the vibe of like, oh, we're kind of drawing this up, like using rhythms and music that like actually get people moving and get us moving, and like in a different way than just being very like programmed or whatever. So like almost this return to nature in like an organic musical sense, and we see it when we play it and people start moving. This guy's a great dancer. This dude, when you see this dude play drums, I swear you're gonna be like, I'm gonna go buy a drum set, like and it's like we're all moving. Like I think the music, we sound better when we all move. We'll even say to each other like, man, we're kind of tight like on this, let's do a shot or whatever, like but I think like that concept of like you mentioned jazz, which is kind of crazy because not many people bring up jazz, but I sometimes say like, oh, there's jazz elements here though, or like we're leaning on that, like we could study the Count Basie big band or something and think about old school dance bands and stuff like that, because in some ways we're an old school dance band, so anyway, I reconnected to that point.
That's awesome.
So back to that and your point about creating music that felt like it was going back to your roots, or like being organic. When we were talking earlier about everyone's connection to music, how it feels like it's healing, how it feels like it's more vibrational than just creating sound. I also tie it to that. And I tie it to that need for connection or desire to do that exchange with your audience would be the other point I, from the outside looking in, would say would be something that Cabeza De Chivo could fall under if we were to do like an analysis of La Cabeza De Chivo. Would be the sense of community also, because everyone's mentioned it, so I think that's pretty noticeable.
The last one for me was to like close this is like, how is your music, or how is Cabeza de Chivo like drawing or like creating a future for your community, for the Latinx people, for the hybridity of identities that we are. So
I think sometimes with like identity and future, like you need permission, and I feel like this band gives people permission to like go crazy, and we go crazy and we let our stuff in, and there's permission for us to like, and I feel like that's one thing that I think about with this band, that even for myself, like I've gotten way more like when I first started playing with the band, like I'm so locked into trying to make the music happen. And like now we're all dancing, laughing with each other and stuff. And I think like that permission to like create the new identity or let it all filter in, and people listen to our music and they're like, what? But then they're also like, yeah, but what? Like, I want to hear it again, you know? Anyway, that's my quick thought on that, but I'm sure other people have thoughts as well.
I mean, yeah, we're doing the thing, you know. It's the middle of fucking 2025, and all of this shit is going on, and we're putting people together to like dance and hang out, and like make the music kind of like be louder than the troubles for a second, and I feel like that's really important, and like, you know, if we keep doing what we're doing, and you know, getting people together, then like the future comes by itself, right? Yeah.
That's a beautiful. That's a beautiful.
So as you all might know, I'm Filipino. You know, I'm Filipino, and I'm playing in Cabeza De Chivo. But I do hope for the future that like one thing, also a little background, is that like I come from Albany Park, and it's one of the most like diverse places like in Chicago, I would say. You know, I grew up with a bunch of different like people and different walks of life, and with me being in this band, I guess it's like symbolism, you know, and I just hope that like it reaches more of different people. And when you see the show today, you'll see the different demographics of people that are going to be pretty cool. Yeah, you'll see the different demographics of people that will be here and will be dancing, you know, and it's really amazing, you know. It's really amazing. But yeah, I just hope that like that our music in the future will just bring people together, you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful, and also something that we talk. I mean, I know you said you're Filipino, but like, I mean, the Latin American identity is like so broad. Like, there's like Japanese, Chinese influence. Like, we're also trying to break that notion of like being a Latino is like this one thing. Yeah. You know, you need to like, speak Spanish, or you need to do this thing, or like you need to walk and talk like that, or live in this space, when it's like, no, I think it's, I don't know what it is, like a framework, a skill that you have. I don't know how to put it in words, you know? So it's like,
experience, I feel like.
It's an experience that, it's an experience.
Hard to explain. I know what
you know, like it's, you know, when you feel like I feel you, I see you, you know, that type of what people say here in the US. Like, but I think you can recognize one another when you are in that like experience, let's call it.
Yeah, it was an unintentional. The music that we were making was for like a group of people. Everything is an experiment, basically, to be honest. Like, like I don't sing, but in this project I sing. And the music, I feel like also, like he was saying, like if you come to the shows, you see people like all backgrounds.
That's so
like
cool.
And ages too, and
that's nice.
So it was very interesting to see that from the beginning. You know, like people just go for the music, basically. We are gonna add more lyrics eventually, but for now it's just music, but it speaks for itself, I guess, you know, like.
I'm so excited. I just heard that single that starts the something like that, you know? And I was like, and as a dancer, I was like, what? Like my whole, all my cells were like moving, and I was like, I don't even, what's the what, you know? And then I was like, oh my God, in cumbia, and then there's like something else, you know? So for me, it was like incredibly like, what is it, like awakening, you know? So I'm so excited to see you all on stage, and like, thank you so much for like talking to us and just being yourselves, you know? Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I'm excited also for our listeners and our viewers to check you guys out. What's the name of the album?
Cabeza De Chivo. It's like, no title, but
self-titled. Perfect.
Cabeza De Chivo.
I love that. Perfect. Okay.
See, we do everything backwards, so.
No. Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Ya, chévere.
¿Sí?
Ujú.
¿Vi de qué? De...
Verga.
Um, ¿Qué haces en Cabeza de Chivo?
Yo toco el teclado y un poquito de guitarra.
Ok, ok,
Hago relajo.
ok.
No.
Ajá, y what is Cabeza de Chivo para ti? ¿Qué es Cabeza de Chivo?
Una distracción de la vida. En serio.
¿En serio?
Ah, sí, pues. Es como una fantasía. Uno
Ok.
puede vivir por ese momento y no tener que preocuparse de todo lo mal. Esto es algo positivo y algo que bien artístico y también bien divertido.
¿Qué otras cosas aparte de Cabeza de Chivo haces?
¿Qué más hago?
Ujú,
Muchas cosas. Soy músico,
ok.
tengo muchos grupos.
¿Ah, sí?
Lo he hecho toda mi vida, pero ahora lo estoy haciendo en serio.
Ok.
Y,
¿Y en serio significa que, o sea, como que...
o sea que uno paga los bills.
Great.
Y los otros son, the other ones are just,
Yeah.
it's like ice cream. You have different
Yeah.
flavors that you love. You don't want
Yeah,
to be stuck with one flavor,
Yeah.
So music to me is like, I love to do all different styles because
Yeah.
they're different children,
Yeah.
you don't have just one favorite children, you have like a bunch of children you love.
Yes.
And I love all my children.
I love that. I love that. You were talking with the band that you usually like do everything backwards. You know, like you figure everything out on stage or in the sessions that you have. And the album release is kind of like also like a thank you to the whole community that have been with you. So this is like a thank you to the community, right? But also like moving forward with like Cabeza de Chivo as like, let's say like an established band or like, I don't know.
What do you mean established?
Established meaning like, it's not like I don't mean it in an institutional, like we're established and we don't let anybody in. It's more of we got a sense of who we are and we want to keep like growing.
I think that, for now, like how everything is, we're in a good space and we're like really positive.
Yeah.
And, who knows what happens in life, And that's not being pessimistic. That's being realistic. And it's like, for what we're doing musically, we're all enjoying this and this is like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But, it might remember it, it might not, you never know.
Yeah.
It's like, because like anything organic, like, sometimes you establish deep roots, sometimes you grow new leaves, sometimes you drop seeds and something else grows, so you don't know exactly which way it's going,
Yeah.
And so right now, we're happy that we recorded this record and, we got this part of this chapter of our history down.
Yeah.
Now it's documented, you know what I mean?
Yes.
This is how far we've come in, since the pandemic, when we started in like late 21, when, there's nothing to do, so we just rehearsed a lot. So this is like celebrating that chapter of our lives from pandemic till now. And now from here on, we're excited to go like forward and, see what new music we can create and what kind of things we can get into,
Yeah, and it's like so exciting well, I'm a dancer, so the first time I was trained in modern, West African, and a bit of ballet. I do a lot of like all the Latin American rhythms that you can. Yeah, it's very well versed. That's how we call it, whatever. I know. Yeah. So the first time I was listening to Casa de Chivo was that somebody put it like on a barbecue, and I was like instantly, because as a dancer I can recognize when there's like nuance,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like stale. And I was like, what is this?
You recognize all the things that we throw into it.
Exactly, and
because there's a lot of like African influence.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Afro-punk. There's a lot of like South American rhythms. There's Central American, North American. There's a lot of Chicago house music that I throw in, and like things that we all grew up with.
Yeah.
And so we're all like throwing every little bit of influence.
Yeah.
There's some surf. There's some psychedelia. There's some like instrumentals. And so we're carrying a lot of our past with us into the future.
You answer the question. So we are a podcast called FLA, that it's like Futurismo Latinoamericano, and we're basically creating like a digital archive about different artists and like people that just create. You know, they kind of not fall under these like different pillars that what is Latin American futurism, you know, like our ability to like put our identity and define the house we want into a future without like westernized, you know, like frameworks of thinking, of like feeling and everything, right? So I'm so curious about like how, like I'm just gonna blue, you know, like because you can define however you want to, right? Like where are you from? Like that can change. If there's some sort of migration that kept you in the music or inspired you to do music, you know?
So I am Chicago born.
Okay.
To Ecuadorian parents.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
And so I lived here till I was 12. I visited a lot. It was
What?
una junta.
Okay.
So for 20 something years they were military.
Wow.
So it was hard to go back and forth.
Yes.
Because, you know, you're
Yeah.
martial law, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
But when they finally opened up and commerce started happening again, they became a democracy. My parents chose to move back.
Okay.
So I moved back, and then my mom left my dad, so we came back to Chicago,
Okay.
and then they sent me back, and then I came back.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah.
So I went to
I understand.
I went to 5 different high schools.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's crazy. But when I started, I was a classical pianist.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started that. But I also learned like how to play the organ from being in church. And the church lady would like get arthritis, so sometimes I would just, you know, remember the songs, and I would help out playing piano or organ. And then, but I also studied under guys who were playing like in los combos, in the Zetinas, you know. So, you know, they would like, show me how to play combo organ. So I was like, all right, this is cool, you know. At the time, I thought it was cheesy, you know. But you know, it's like anything, like any adventure, you collect, you know, points, or you collect like tips and you know, all kinds of things, like experiences, and then you use them one day when you're like bored and you're trying to think of something. You're like, I'm gonna use this. I used to hate this, but now I kind of like using it. And that reminds me of like this guy. Let's had one show that we did, and he told me he was drunk, really drunk, and he's like crying to me. He's crying to me, and he's like, tú suenas como la música de mi papá, and he's crying, and I'm like, you know, it was kind of funny and sad because he was really messed up, but I got what he was saying, you know, because that's where I took my influences from, all the stuff that I grew up listening to in my house. I'm not trying to be retro. I'm not trying to like bring back something that had its time. I'm trying to use it now. With the inspiration of the other guys, you know, and they have like different music that they grew up with, you know, so we all share that and we all use it.
And I think now that you mentioned that, it's like beautiful because it's like multi-generational, kind of like Latin American houses too, you know, and then the band also is multi-generational, and like what I enjoyed when we were also talking with them, it's like, really, this is like, you know, the hybridity of our identities, because we're all like mixed in so many ways, you know, and this constant exploration, and then knowing that you figure a lot of stuff on stage, and then you're like, okay, well, let's make a CD, but let's make an album too, you know. That it's like incredibly unique, and also like pushing forward what like people think. You know, like maybe Latino music has to sound, or like, you know.
Well, that's the thing, is like, you know, everything musical influences other things musical. You don't have to be Latino to understand that, because it goes all, you know, like Latino music is basically, you know, European music and African rhythms, and indigenous music, you know. And so us being Hispanos, what does that mean? What's our identity? You know, and you start going down that rabbit hole, because, you know, like you're like, you can't make it about it like a DNA mixture, you know, like, oh, I'm this percent European, but I'm this percent indigenous. And, you know, that's all stupid, because it's like culturally we're all a mix anyway. and we're still mixing.
Yeah.
We're not done, you know.
Yeah, we're not done.
And so it comes down to like culturally where you're at. Are you culturally open to other ideas and to things? I don't have to be pigeonholed into one category. You know what I mean? Like there's people who are like, oh, you're a you're a cumbia, psychedelic cumbia. I'm like, no, we play other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like they want to always put you in a category,
Yeah.
and that is a very colonial way of doing things. Instead of being just accepting of the art form itself and what a hybrid it is. But you have to package it to sell it, and that's where it gets hard because we're mainly instrumental. How do you sell to people like? Oh, so I got this band. They're really really interesting, but they hardly sing, and they're kind of psychedelic, and they kind of and they kind of play rock.
Yeah.
And then you're like sitting there going, but until you see it, until you hear it, until you feel it, and then that's when like people really go, oh, you guys are great, and so unique. I'm like, oh.
And then those barriers kind of blur out.
Yeah.
Do you think? Because I think it's an ability to like tweet like that. It's because of like your migration and changing so much. Like I have Pacific, like born in Lima, raised in Venezuela, then to the US, then went back to Lima, and then I'm back here.
Yeah, because your experience is like both, an American and a foreigner, and an American.
Yeah.
And and you're going back and forth. How can you be a citizen and an immigrant at the same time?
I know that was what.
Yes.
And that's
I died for a second,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You died.
Yeah, for a moment.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you excited to share this music with your fans? And are you
Yeah, I mean,
eager? Are you nervous?
no, I don't get nervous anymore. I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But no, I don't get nervous. Like sometimes I feel anxiety, and sometimes I feel like exhaustion. Because let me put it to you this way: the way things are supposed to go sometimes don't go that way, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, oh, I'm gonna have I'm gonna clear my calendar, and I'm gonna have a good show, and then nothing's gonna stand in my way, and then all these problems, just come out of nowhere, and you're like, I don't feel like doing it. I just feel like playing and going home,
Yeah.
And it's just a different mentality, but you got to use that. Just like you use good energy, you got to use negative energy.
Yeah, totally.
To sometimes, inspire you to play better.
Yeah.
Just like anything, you gotta use things, and not let it get you down or make you feel, uninspired. So I think tonight will be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're very excited.
We're very excited.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, thank you. This was beautiful, and
Thank you.
we hope to just keep following all of you and
Yeah.
expanding the universe of
Yeah.
whatever comes next. But and it is whatever it is now.
It is what it's gonna be.
Exactly. Yeah,
And that's the thing. Just roll with it.
I love that.
Mm.
Okay.
Ave María, qué entrevistota, Cami. Qué buena entrevista, Cami.
Qué buena
Estoy
entrevista.
súper orgulloso de nosotros.
Yo también, marico, de verdad que
Se nos da de una manera.
se nos dio una manera mágica, pero coño, es que no, en verdad nos preparamos. O sea, ellos nos hicieron al final y que coño, en verdad, burda profesional. Y yo que, oye, pues, o sea, nosotros estamos haciendo una guachafada. ¿Entiendes? O sea, esto es una vaina seria de la mejor manera posible, no seria de aburrida, ¿no? Y es como que las preguntas son. Porque es como que de artista a artista, ¿sabes? Como que.
Siempre dice eso. Así mismo es.
Así.
Tenemos un interés en que nos digan las preguntas que tenemos, que nos las contesten. No es como ABCD, como un template de preguntas.
Exacto.
Es como, ok, ¿cómo encajan estas disyuntivas que tengo sobre ellos o sobre Flash o sobre la pieza que van a traer para nutrirme y para que ustedes entiendan un poquito más del proceso atrás de hacer música? Que
Sí.
fue increíble, como ellos dijeron, sí, hacemos las cosas de atrás para adelante,
Eso me encantó y creo que el título va a ser haciendo música de atrás para adelante.
rompiendo los paradigmas y las estructuras que
Eso es lo que.
la vena. Exacto. Increíble.
Sí.
¿Y que algún...?
No sé, yo estoy demasiado feliz porque aparte, otra de las cosas que yo creo que siempre te digo a nivel personal, que es como que, marico, en verdad, su música no es solamente súper arrecha, pero son gente demasiado chévere. O sea, como que son
Súper genuinos,
son
que es lo que,
genuinos.
lo que te estaba diciendo ahorita cuando terminamos la entrevista. O sea, siempre para mí ay, lo siento en el aire, es la autenticidad de un artista. O sea, tú lo sientes, cuando tú sientes la autenticidad,
sí.
cuando alguien es genuino, sí, como que lo siento,
Claro,
está ahí en el aire.
claro.
La autenticidad, o sea, cuando no se siente forzado, se desenvuelven,
Sí.
maybe uno está un poquito incómodo o es algo nuevo, no en la entrevista, sino como en el proceso de crear algo.
Sí, total.
Pero sí, como dijeron en la entrevista, tenemos un commitment a Cabeza de Chivo y a darles un regalo a nuestra audiencia que ha estado con nosotros en los live shows y todo, ¿no?
Ujú.
Y es como el deseo de crear nace de ahí
Sí.
y eso es muy bonito para hablarlo y dialogarlo con un grupo de artistas.
Sí, y como que también demasiado como que genuino que, o sea, a mí lo que me voló la cabeza fue como que se compartían los instrumentos.
Sí,
Y
súper fluido.
para mí fue como que, wow, orgía de instrumentos.
Yo no sé lo mismo, ¿no? Yo ahí sí cambiamos roles y yo, ay, qué abierto.
Marico, wow, ok. Y
Súper cool.
eso, que cambiaban instrumentos así, que como que me encantó la parte que era como que, en verdad, nosotros, este es nuestro primer disco como para agradecer a la comunidad que nos apoya, pero nosotros como que hacemos música en vivo en escena, o sea, y eso me pareció como, con razón, cuando yo la escuché por primera vez dije como que, wow, hay algo demasiado especial en esto que se siente como que latente y vivo. La comunidad.
Eso mismo, y por eso yo les dije cuando estábamos hablando, o sea, para mí el que sigue saliendo así es el sentido de comunidad latentivo, porque se siente de un punto bien genuino y auténtico que el deseo es de crear comunidad.
Sí.
No solo latinos, de cualquier edad, de cualquier etnicidad, pero con el enfoque de déjame compartir contigo mis experiencias y mis culturas
Sí.
y que tú saques algo de eso a través de la música, que es increíble.
Y aparte que, por ejemplo, que Chase, que es filipino, está ahí y puede acceder a todos esos ritmos, eso también habla de nuestro policulturalismo y nuestra apertura a como que saber que somos una mezcla, una mezcolanza, un montón de cosas y que de esa manera de ser híbrida salen cosas como demasiado auténticas de verdad, o sea, no es como que...
Sí, full, 100%.
No es como que fake.
Esperamos que les haya gustado esta entrevista. Ahora vamos a ver el evento, el release de por sí. Así que nos vamos a ver ahorita. Vamos a hacer un
chiquiramo.
Un sequence de Pompeya era.
Ajá, sí.
Y después los vemos después y hablamos de cómo fue la experiencia.
Exacto. Así que, nada, marico, siéntate y disfruta.
Y disfruta. Con la música de Cabeza de Chivo.
Te queremos mucho. Bye.
¿Eres actor y quieres darle un empujón a tu carrera sin que te cueste un ojo de la cara? Chicago Demo Reel Productions es la solución. Si necesitas self-tapes, demo reels, grabaciones de voz, edición y hasta producción de contenido, ellos son el equipo que tú necesitas. Ya seas un actor amateur o con mucha experiencia, tu billetera te lo agradecerá. Porque ¿en dónde más podrás encontrar un estudio en donde tú te sientas como el director de tu propia película? Sus costos accesibles te ayudarán a crear un portafolio profesional que elevará tu carrera al siguiente nivel. Así que no lo pienses más y visita chicagodemoreel.com. Es hora de brillar. Ok.
Ok, ya nos estamos
Ok.
viendo.
Mi
Sí,
gente,
que nos
sin que nos
atropellen.
atropellen, mira, ahí está el
Subiendo el carro, subiendo el carro.
Estamos aquí en el Antiboro saliendo de un showzazo.
Demasiado chozazo.
Ustedes, o sea, no podemos ni describir como que la vibra. Fue,
Yo siento que fue como que hay un momento que you have to like just give in, porque es como que la resiliencia.
Ave María, sí, ellos estuvieron tocando que como una hora sin parar.
Una hora sin parar, mira que está haciendo vientito y podemos poner aquí las pelucitas.
Pues,
Disculpe, es que si no se va a escuchar horrible con el viento.
no, está bien. Solo que te estoy grabando aquí.
Ya. Coño.
En lo que Cami hace eso,
You do a debrief.
yo voy a dar el debrief. Estaba repleto el empty bottle.
Toma.
Y mira, aquí está pasando la parada puertorriqueña. Y mira un body aquí. Ella.
Coño, vale.
Pues volviendo al tema. Estaba repleto de gente. Mucha energía de parte de los artistas. Todos estuvieron en su A-game. Con todo y que hubieron supuestos errores técnicos, ni se notó. Porque fue tan well meshed y todo tan cohesive que yo no lo pude percibir. I was having too much of a good time. ¿Verdad?
Sí. No, yo sí percibí porque...
Cami se dio cuenta, yo me di cuenta, pero no se sentía. ¿Does that make sense? Porque les iba tan bien.
A mí me pareció rechísimo que era como que había un momento que tenías que simplemente like surrender to the experience. Y bueno, yo con mi patita ahí estaba ahí, no le pasó
¿Estuviste en
nada.
adrenalina?
Yo estuve ahí.
Una hora sin sentarse ni nada.
Sí, aparte que fue como 1 hora y media, ¿sabes? Lo que hicieron, como 1 hora y 20. ¿No? Y marico, me pareció increíble porque yo siento que un momento que yo escuchaba la música y decía, esto es pura resiliencia, o sea, seguir tocando sin parar.
Sí.
Like, eso ya no existe.
No.
Entonces, nada, era como si fuese una resiliencia así, cabroncísima y fue como, no sé, marico, como ellos dijeron, es una vaina espiritual. Yo me fui en trance, tú me viste, yo qué chavo, me quité el mes, estaba en sostén así sudando y
Sí. Pero sí fue puro trance y fue puro, me encantó porque en la entrevista ellos dicen como que esto es un regalo para la audiencia o para nuestros fans.
Sí.
Y se notó porque estaban esmerados, o sea, estaban
Sí, estaban ahí. Vamos, para. Y yo,
increíble.
sí.
Y creo que volviendo a eso, de FLA,
Ajá.
la comunidad, y yo creo que como su música, como tú dices, el trance,
Ajá, sí.
es como un cazador
Ajá.
de la atemporalidad, ¿no? Como perderse en el tiempo.
Ajá.
Pues nada, yo diría que FLA 100%.
Sí, increíble, en verdad, los tipos son otro level. Yo estoy en shock.
Y nada, esperamos que la entrevista le haya gustado. Y esperamos que... ¿Qué más, Cami?
Son las 1:55 de la mañana, gente. Yo ya, esto es mi...
Esto es de viejo, yo estoy ya que no puedo.
Yo también tú y Cami, ¿estás bien? Y yo dije, no sé qué responderte porque literalmente mi pierna está bien, o sea, mi rodilla no se siente nada. Yo estoy mamada, o sea, es como que de sueño, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
Como que Cami, ¿estás bien? Y yo, ajá. Y no sé qué decir.
Y pues nada, como siempre, gracias a nuestros patrocinadores, métanse a Patreon.
Coño, métanse a Patreon para seguir haciendo
para
nada,
seguir
¿sí?
haciendo cosas así.
No le podemos comprar merch por su culpa, aunque ustedes no paguen.
Pues gracias. Van a ver las entrevistas extendidas, la de Vi y la de la banda completa, porque en el episodio va a haber una editada.
Claro, sí.
Entonces, si quieren la uncut,
Paga
Patreon.
Patreon, pues. Si quieres más, paga Patreon.
Y pues nada. Para el episodio siguiente, sorpresa, porque no hemos llegado tan lejos y no sabemos dónde va a caer este episodio. Lo queremos sacar lo antes posible. So, hoy es junio 13, viernes 13, cabe mencionar. Y pues
Ya sábado 14.
vamos a ver cuándo sale.
¿Qué cosa así?
¿Qué más, Cami? ¿Tienes una pregunta para la audiencia para el episodio? Para este episodio, para cerrarlo.
Sí, escuchen Cabeza de Chivo y díganos qué les parece.
Sí, ¿qué les parece el disco nuevo?
El disco nuevo.
Denle sus opiniones, déjenlo en los comments.
Sí, sí.
Recuerden seguirnos,
Y
seguirnos a nosotros y seguirlos a ellos en YouTube, en Facebook, en Instagram,
Hay que cruzar.
en todos lados.
Estás cruzando safety.
Safety.
Yo soy la que estoy mirando a la calle y aquí está Edu al lado mío. Yo lo guío.
Y yo también
Como
a ti,
si fuésemos
camarita.
handicap.
Y nada, este es el episodio más impromptu, pero yo creo que va a estar cool.
Coño, sí, me gustó burda. Fue como demasiado.
A mí
distinto.
también.
La misma vez bien.
Pero la luz otra vez se fue dentro. Vamos para acá.
Ya pues nos tenemos que ir a dormir, pero en verdad gracias por vernos, escucharnos y en verdad escuchar a sendos artistas que son Cabeza de Chivo, artistazos todos de una manera increíble y única y que vivan las orgías musicales.
Amén.
Amén.
Y recordemos que
Flies Love.
Flies Life. Bye.